A very good afternoon and a warm welcome to UBC Lunchtime News on this 26th day of July 2023. I'm Lauryn Masika Kazimoto. Now we start off this news bulletin with our first headlining story this afternoon. President Museveni has left for Russia to join other African leaders at the second Russia-Africa Economic Humanitarian Forum. At Entebbe International Airport, President Museveni was seen off by the Minister for Presidency, Babiri Emili Babalanda, the head of Public Service and Secretary to the Cabinet, Lucy Nachobe Mbonye, the Chief of Defense Forces, General Wilson Mbadi Mbusa, and Police Director for Crime Intelligence, AIGP, Geoffrey Goloba, and the Deputy Commissioner General of Prisons, Mr. Samuel Akena. While in Russia, President Museveni is expected to have a tete-a-tete session with his host, Russian President Vladimir Putin, to discuss a wide range of issues. He is also expected to have several bilateral meetings and discussions with different delegations on the sidelines of the summit. The summit in St. Petersburg will run on Thursday and Friday, after which His Excellency Museveni will head to the Serbian capital of Belgrade to inaugurate a hub for promoting Uganda's tourism trade and investment potential in line with bolstering commercial diplomacy in Eastern Europe. Uganda has long enjoyed warm historical ties with Russia and present-day Serbia dating back in the early 1990s. The Ministry of Education and Sports has issued a directive to administrators of tertiary institutions instructing them to incorporate physical education and sports into their daily schedules. During the Physical Education Tutors Retreat, Dr. Canon Duncan Mugumya, the Commissioner in charge of physical education at the ministry, urged these administrators to make use of the allocated budget to ensure tangible participation in physical education and sports activities. We have more.
The Ministry of Education and Sports has discovered that certain administrators of tertiary institutions and other education centers are neglecting physical education despite the allocation of funds in the ministry's budget for this purpose.
We are calling upon them, make sure that remember this is a Ministry of Education and Sports, make sure that programs in the institutions are catering for both sports and are catering for also academic activities. Make sure that you do that such that even in budgeting, boards of governors, make sure PTAs, make sure that you really support that policy of the ministry that we are supposed to engage in education and sports.
Local governments are strongly encouraged to protect community recreation centers and incorporate fitness arrangements into their urban planning.
We believe at the Ministry of Education and Sports that we need to cooperate, we need to collaborate with local governments. After all, it is government. So far, National Council has been moving from local government to local government such that we may protect and these sports facilities and even develop them. In schools now as we talk, the sports facilities will be protected because the First Lady encouraged that in all the schools we are developing, we must make sure that now we have sports facilities in our budget. Now, the schools that are going to be developed under the program of World Bank, we are going to make the program is already there that there will be sports facilities. And when sports facilities are already built with a fence, with a wall fence, and they are being used, it is very difficult for encroachers to encroach them.
During the Physical Education Tutors Retreat organized by the Ministry of Education and Sports, stakeholders acknowledged a notable encroachment on facilities, competition for land, and the presence of inadequate or outdated sports equipment.
The issue is they always look at their funding as very small. The capitation grant that they receive at schools, they only prioritize the technical trades that the mother department is meant to see. But for us, we are saying that the ministry has a fully-fledged department of physical education which has been in existence for over 16 years and is mandated to oversee the provisions of physical education and sport throughout the country.
The primary obstacle hindering the implementation of the new curriculum, which includes physical education, is the scarcity of training facilities. The ministry is working to bring about a mindset change among tutors. Abdul Nasir Lubwama for UBC.
Education in Karamoja continues to be interfered with by the pastoralists who revolve their lives around looking after their cattle. Now, as a result, only a few boys are interested in going to school. During an engagement with the Education Review Commission in Kabong District, the resident District Commissioner Okidia Chris Mike expressed the need for the Commission and the Ministry of Education and Sports to formulate a policy that enforces the education system in the region.
The Education Policy Review Commission, led by Amanya Mushiga, has camped in Karamoja region to consult different stakeholders to have an input in the new education policy.
The government could come and ensure that we put these other primary schools in each and every parish to help these other communities. And also, each and every sub-county should have a secondary school. We only have one. That is in Kabonga, then we have the other one, the Iki City School. Then we also have the one of Sidok, which is not yet operationalized.
The RDC Kabong District Okiria Chris Mike asked government to conduct forceful education system in Karamoja region to ensure that young boys leave the crowds and stay in school.
The bottom line is to remove these children from the crowd. Therefore, you will be cutting the umbilical cord of warriorism in Karamoja. Because you leave them in the crowd, it's a recruitment base for warriors.
Teachers have thanked the government and the Ministry of Education for the new curriculum, saying it is aimed at providing the best knowledge and skills to the younger generation, as its emphasis is put more on practical subjects.
Keep these children in school. Their parents, most of the time when they go back, they will not bother. They want them to go and look after cows. So basically, we have the policy that in Karamoja, we must make sure to change Karamoja, children must go to school.
Is that since education system in Karamoja is still low, I would request that all the children are put in a boarding so that they can be retained to complete P7 and even far better than that, to go to secondary and far beyond.
Something like maybe technical drawing, it's left out. Like agriculture, it's optional. Fine art is optional. Music, not there. Now we bring in something like Swahili. So now I think if you look at the policies that can help the country as we go forward, let us prioritize these practical, basically the hands-on.
Lack of computers and internet in Karamoja has denied learners opportunity from acquiring computer knowledge and skills.
Some sponsorships so that Karamojong also can improve on their studies, because Karamojongs nowadays are the one who are behind and are the one who are reading.
Just because they don't have enough to pay for our school fees. So if like even a parent surrender to sell one bull, he can't sell for everyone. Like in primaries, there is simple payment of school fees, but in secondary year, there is high money which can...
About fees, what I'm talking about is fees. You can find that our parents will manage to struggle with payers.
The review aims at reducing content overload and contact hours in the classroom so as to create time for research, project work, talent development and creativity.
You highlight them, you justify why there are issues according to you, and you propose a recommendation.
The need for rigorous career guidance program to help learners make informed decisions was emphasized. The Education Policy Review Commission engaged education stakeholders, local leaders, civil society members, administrators of refugee camps, religious leaders, faith-based education entities, community leaders, teachers, parents and learners in the Bosoga, West Nile and Karamoja regions. I'm Nafka Farida and Obo Yusuf.
82 students from Doers of the Word Bible Institute have graduated with certificates in ministry, while others have graduated with diplomas in theology and ministry in Bukwiri at Chankwanzi Christian Fellowship Church. Andrew Maweje from Bible Revelation Church says that the purpose of these graduations is to equip the students with God's Word and enable them to preach to others. During the Bible study and preaching competition at Duhaga Secondary School in Hoima City, the resident district commissioner Chikube Amlam Tumusime advised the students to prioritize God as they pursue their studies.
Amen. 60 students who have been studying diploma in theology and ministry. They've been studying for 1 year, since 2022, November, up to today. They've been studying different aspects of Christianity and how to put what they have studied in practice. So what we are urging those who have graduated today, as they go out into the field, into the churches where they minister, into the places where they work, into their homes, is that let them put into practice whatever they have learned. The Bible says that be doers of the word and not only hearers of the word.
Okusoma Bayibuli njiza obuweereza engeri gye ngenda okuweereza mpulira bulungi nnyo mu mwoyo gwange mpulira nina we nvudde mpulira nina we nzize.
Young people to sensitize them on the dangers associated with land grabbing, dangers associated with working in wetlands, cutting trees, destroying the environment. I just wanted them to grow up knowing that even God dislikes it, even God despises it.
UBC Lunchtime News. Now, Parliament has not received the statutory instrument on the extension of term of office of the Local Council 1 and 2, even after the Cabinet resolution okays the extension of the term of office of administrative units. The paperwork will delay the parliamentary sittings, which were adjourned since last week. The Attorney General, Chiowa Chwanuka, has assured Parliament that the subordinate legislation will be availed soonest.
Honourable members, before
Parliament plenary sessions will have to wait until government avails statutory instruments paving way for the extension of term of office of the administrative units.
By the time of this interview, Parliament has not yet received, neither the clerk, by the time of this interview.
Last week, the Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among, adjourned Parliament sine die or without any future date designated to enable government take action on the administrative unit's term of office.
We think there are some games that are being played, and that's why the administrative units elections have not yet been conducted. We are not comfortable with the position of the Attorney General that government wasn't prepared, government is not ready, and we are not comfortable that they are seeking an extension. But nonetheless, we have no choice because the term has already expired. So what we shall do is we are waiting for their document to be availed to us, and then we look through it.
Cabinet resolved to alter an Act of Parliament empowering the Minister for Local Government to extend the term of office of the LOC 1 and 2 respectively, which ended on July 10th.
But we are saying that the Minister may, by notice in the Gazette and a newspaper of national circulation or other media, with the approval of Cabinet, extend, renew, reinstate or validate the term of office of the administrative units.
But this time, the law will be implemented retrospectively.
We've used it quite severally. We've used it severally in many legislation. I can share many where we've used them, even where we're in the know. The only difference here is that this one involves elections. I think that's the first time we are doing that.
The Attorney General, Chiowa Chwanuka, appeared before the Parliamentary Committee on Legal and Parliamentary Affairs to defend the justification for the extension.
Because it's clear that the Local Government Act is silent on anything to do with extension of a term of office for administrative units. So we'll look at it and then come up with our position. But the bottom line is the government needs to stop dilly-dallying.
So we are satisfied with the legal part, but for the financial part, we are waiting for the Honorable Minister for Finance, who we shall end up seeing on Thursday. Attorney General Chiwachuanuka says an approach to avoid future similar situation has also been extensively addressed. Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Gutabinji, UBC News.
UBC Lunchtime News takes a very short break, but we will return with more stories after these messages.
These days, our homes are no longer just the places we live. It's where we attend meetings, go to class, keep each other safe, and entertain ourselves. To do this smoothly, you need a reliable internet connection. Buy the MTN WakaNet router, which connects up to 32 devices and get a free 40 GB data bundle at only 149,000 shillings. Or buy the MTN WakaNet MiFi at only 75,000 shillings and enjoy a free 15 GB bundle to stream, study, work, and play on the go. Visit any MTN service center to buy the MTN WakaNet router or MiFi and enjoy the internet that does amazing things.
Juko. Yo. Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, it is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
Upgrade your lifestyle with the all-new entry-loaded Chillax voice bundles. Now, call all networks in Uganda with Chillax voice bundles. Call all networks, no expiry, no worries. Dial *100 *1# and select call all networks. Airtel, a reason to imagine.
The biggest, the baddest East African Christian Marathon is here. Come participate at the East African Christian Marathon for a prayer run on the 13th of August 2023 at the Lugogo Hockey Grounds. Come represent your family at the prayer run and run for a good cause to build the first call center, which will be East Africa's virtual listener. Come for the prayer run alongside your pastors, leaders, representatives from Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi, Congo, South Sudan, and of course Uganda. Participate with Honorable Captain Mike Mukula, who is the chief runner and patron. Do not miss out on this opportunity. Make your donation for your kid now from 20,000, 30,000 and 100,000 Uganda shillings, because runs change the world. For more details, call 0781 885 055 or visit our website at www.eastafricachristianmarathon.org. Proudly sponsored by PKF, UBC, Venro Health, Aquafina, and Moving Preacher.
Welcome back from that break, and now into the business scene. Uganda will host the high-level East African Business and Investment Summit starting 31st August to the 1st of September 2023 to boost business opportunities between the East African region and the rest of Africa. The State Minister for East African Affairs, James Magode Ikuya, says the summit is on the theme Private Sector-Driven Intervention for Increased Intra-African Trade and Investment.
The East African community states still face trade-related barriers among member states, which also affects the smooth running of trade across the region. The State Minister for East African Affairs, James Magode Ikuya, who represented the Minister for East African Affairs, Rebecca Kadaga, says there is a need for public and private sector dialogues to spur economic integration.
We are here today to emphasize the importance of public-private dialogue in shaping a conducive business environment that ultimately leads to prosperity for our region, which is private sector-driven regional integration for increased intra-African trade and investment, underscores the vital role of the private sector in driving economic growth and fostering deeper regional ties.
The summit will front both women and youth to target inclusive and sustainable business environment in Africa.
Indeed, women and youth in business, as the continent's current development agenda is strongly anchored on women and youth to drive the Africa we want. The Africa we want that is inclusive and sustainable is the Africa that aspires to ensure that the youth are able to get decent jobs. They are able to drive the growth, not to be left behind in the abject poverty.
The East African Business and Investment Summit starts 31st August and ends 1st September. Marion Awori and Stephen Kalisia.
The former Defence Minister, Dr. Crispus Kionga, has tipped all coffee farmers in Kasese district on proper methods of farming if they are to fetch good prices. He also advised farmers to stop selling fresh coffee to the middlemen.
So this coming season, those who still have land, plant more. But be careful about the seedlings. Which seedlings are you planting?
Chionga, who is also the NRM chairperson for Kasese district, advised the coffee farmers to utilize the extension workers at all levels on how best they can improve their coffee yields.
Selling fresh coffee, locally here it is called Selise. Those people who come to buy red, they buy Selise. There are people whom we call Ngalia Bihire. They eat what is ready. But they cheat you, you the farmer. Why are you selling fresh coffee? Process it yourself. Even drying the way we dry is very tedious. For about 2 months you are drying coffee.
However, Grace Kisuki, a coffee farmer on a small scale in Bwera Sub-County, Bukonzo County West constituency, requested the government to intervene on pests and diseases that have invaded and destroyed their coffee trees.
Kandi ekwabyo wondo natandika bya kayomera kwasangana chiti nacho shomweni nabirioma kwebuka tuteshe nguma ewasanga neshengume shosho isimuli mwene.
Uganda waraji batusako manrane chikona tena tekobu seko season yakuna savu July kuma Mount Papa's Hall usasule kwa MTN mobile money usasule gumu chitundu MTN usasule nega nkomitano niga sistemu kagatano stamu enda munana hasha kwa MTN ufuni tiketi yokati wabula kumliango usasule mitwale ibiri yepe mitwale tano ate meza ya milioni kuyingira mutwalo wafujinidwa musente Talent Africa Victoria University Suzu Property Consultants Pepsi Max Uganda waraji ne MTN.
Welcome back. And now into sport. Uganda and Kenya have continued to grow partnerships that point to a perfect East African community. The latest initiative has been through a canoe kayaking contest between the two nations at Buloba Forest Park. We have the details.
Uganda and Kenya have over the years contested in several sports, but never before had they engaged in canoe kayaking. When this eventually happened at Buloba High Performance Center, the occasion was electric. Over 80 Ugandan participants and Kisumu Rowing and Kayak Club from Kenya took part in this event that revealed a lot.
The performance of athletes has been very good. Those who are just beginning have been performing very well. They have the balancing, they catch up the speed. Those who have been trained well, they are actually doing very good speed. 40 seconds, 30 seconds in 200 meters. So really we have very good speeds here which have been noted down, which are on international levels. So this is just a matter of getting there at some point, but we are ready. We have hit the speed for international events.
The Kenyans confessed Uganda's prowess and also appreciated the generosity of an offer of a canoe amidst lack of basic equipment like pedals, life jackets and technical staff.
It is very good. It is very good because we combine two countries and we see the potential here because of good facilities in Uganda which we lack in Kenya. Like the kayak that we are getting here, some of them are the racing kayaks which we appreciate, will make us, our people, to go to their standard level.
We gained a lot of experience and definitely we are going back with a very good thing because the facilities which are here, we don't have them back in our club in Kenya.
In an event dominated by Uganda athletes like Juma Buayo, Simon Vibo, Jovan Achiri, Yusuf Mutumba and Felix Mukembia exhibited quality in the 200 meters time trial. What happens next is exchange of technical ideas to grow the sport in the region before an East African championship. John Barnes, Centum, UBC News.
Masaka, Choteda and Kalisizo are bracing up for the 5th round of the National Rally Championship that is due between the 11th and 13th of August. The clerk of the course, Jared Kalida, confirms that it will cover 267 kilometers with several stages including Kida to Kabonera, Kabonera to Kakondo and Buyambi to Kamagwa. He also expects all the nation's top drivers to be part of this rally that will contribute immensely to the national rally standings.
Very important issue is the issue of safety. Safety has become a very, very big component of the sport. In fact, the biggest portion of our budget goes to safety. Because the routes in some areas go through small villages and small towns, we have designed a route in conjunction with Uganda Police and the Ministry of Works to ensure that we have areas where we slow down the cars using chicanes, but also we have begun sensitization of the people in those areas of Masaka where the event is going to pass. Good enough is that most of the marshals that we are going to use are village marshals who know about the event. We always have problems with our fans who come from Kampala who think that they know a lot, but we are putting measures to ensure that the fans are really far away from the stages and to avoid any issues of death or people being maimed because they're enjoying.
UBC Lunchtime News has come to an end. Thank you so much for your company this afternoon. Do enjoy much more of UBC Television's programming. I'm Lauryn Masika Kazimoto. Good afternoon.